4 marks a special time in our league with the first non-divisional week. All of us looking to stay ahead of the tiebreakers in case we need to win wildcard spots to get into those playoffs, those coveted playoffs. We will have a rivalry game coming up this week with an award on the line. We'll also get 3 massive games with both teams in the matchup having winning records. And of course, there will be a matchup that could be one of those early season must-wins. Overall, the injuries are piling up with Mike Williams now out for the year, dealing a second blow to Loki Lebowski-Thor, who also has a huge must-win game coming up against the reeling defending champions. But while this week will be watched closely by us all as we look to see if clear playoff contenders will emerge, we will be featuring 2 teams desperately looking for a win in our next as 1 and 2 the Clash at Demonhead travels to take on Air Jordan at the Caves of Bròn Dìomhair.
The Caves of Bròn Dìomhair lead deep into the planet, a labyrinth with twists, turns, and secrets. When the Aishi die, their energy can linger, especially in an area with a dark past. The sorrow felt by the land cannot be released, as it lay suspended between the shadow and the light. Normally the planes of existence remain hidden, but in these caves, and due to the disturbances on the surface, the light and shadow become visible to the naked eye. These caves are in a state of flux, sometimes releasing light particles with the power to heal and to mend, to bring safety and stability. Sometimes being drowned in clouds of shadow and sadness with the power to confuse. And if both are released at the same time, it's said that visions of an extreme battle can be felt both mentally and physically. Only those with strong minds can survive in these caves. Only those who can train their minds to hold on to their dreams. The Aishi had many losses as a member of the Order of the Light, but in these caves, Obscitans Abyssus was able to spring a deadly trap. The corrupted minds of previous artifacts forced the Aishi deep into the caves, and before they could regroup, the shadows manipulated the area to create locked ones with barriers. Suddenly, a large number of Aishi were stuck without escape, but instead of finishing them off, Obscitans Abyssus was able to torture these souls. The 4th relic is a skeleton key, known as the Truaillidh. This key was found one by one, unlocking doors but leading to doom. One after the other, the Aishi desperately tried to escape only to find themselves driven to madness before succumbing to the darkness. Those who were able to resist the key eventually gave up and transcended into light particles to forever roam the caves as lost souls. The key's big trick is that it had the power to show you the correct way in your mind. But the door it opened was designed to guide you the wrong way. All one had to do was ignore the key and the barriers, and to just allow the true path to be followed. But the confusion in the caves led to wrong choices being made. This could also guide the dark creatures to the whereabouts of the Queen's hideout, which is why it is an urgent matter that a counterplan be made before it falls into the wrong hands. Of course, 2 teams are present here this week. The host Air Jordan, who is desperate for a win just like the Aishi, and a visiting squad, the Clash at Demonhead, looking to start strong and make a case as an early contender. Coaching will be important with the distractions and misdirections featured in these caves. Only one will keep their wits. And the key? It's dangerously close to being lost to those closely tied with the shadows.
Air Jordan is dangerously close to being in do-or-die territory, but the Clash at Demonhead also don't want to drop this one and go below Air Jordan in the overall standings. And as of now, the computers project this one to be close, with the Clash at Demonhead getting a 53.9% chance to win. Jordan Love continues to do well in fantasy, and he will need to do well again with Josh Allen potentially being in a shootout against Miami. James Conner gets a tough matchup for Air Jordan, but has been one of the bright spots early in the season. But Javonte Williams does get to embarrass the terrible Bears defense, and the Broncos are probably upset about getting wrecked by Miami last week. That means that the Clash at Demonhead needs a touchdown by Chuba Hubbard and a solid game by Isaiah Pacheco, who has a tough matchup against the Jets. Stephon Diggs should be in a shootout, and Jamar Chase has a tough matchup. At the tight end position, we get Luke Musgrave looking to turn potential targets into production, and Mark Andrews going up against a good Browns defense. The kickers could both get plenty of field goal opportunities, with both matchups not great for offenses, and the Packers defense gets the better matchup because the Jets will need to limit the Chiefs' offense. Najee Harris has an edge over Jaden Reed at the flex position, but both look to be touchdown dependent. Also must be said that Reed touchdowns mean that Jordan Love touchdowns get canceled out. That leaves two players, and the ones that I'm obviously watching here. For the Clash at Demonhead, I turn to wide receiver Amari Cooper. Cooper has 243 yards and a touchdown so far this season, and has been a little limited with a groin injury. The production, though, has gotten better each week. 116 yards and a score against a tough Tennessee defense cannot be overlooked last week. Baltimore is also a tough defensive side and can force turnovers, but Cleveland is able to take more chances due to the defense playing so well. Even in close games, Cooper is getting targets. He had 25 so far in 3 games, including 10 against Pittsburgh in Week 2. He also has big play potential, and Deshaun Watson will eventually need to push the ball down the field. While there are other people who can take targets, like Elijah Moore, Peoples-Jones, Njoku, running backs Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt, Cooper is obviously the clear number 1 wideout, so you expect him to get lots of targets. One note is that while the Ravens have allowed 184 yards per game to wide receivers in 3 games against the Bengals, Colts, and Texans, they've only allowed 2 touchdowns to wide receivers. Cooper might get yards, but in order to put up the numbers needed to cancel out other advantages by Air Jordan, he'll most likely need a score to keep the Clash at Demonhead ahead here. There's also this rivalry, which tends to lead to low-scoring, grinding-it-out games, these Ravens-Browns games. That means the opportunities for a touchdown might actually be limited. If Cooper overcomes these obstacles and once again builds on a strong performance, it could be a big boost for the Clash at Demonhead. But if he's held in check, then it could also switch the advantage to Air Jordan. Speaking of Air Jordan, the hosts boast newly acquired wide receiver Brandon Ayuk, and all eyes will be on his performance compared to Deebo Samuel, who was one of his 5th-round picks. Ayuk is dealing with a shoulder injury, but he is practicing. He went off for 129 yards and 2 touchdowns in Week 1 with 8 targets. He was injured in Week 2 and only had 43 yards in that one, and obviously he missed last week. Samuel just had a couple of solid games, and the 49ers have plenty of options, including tight end George Kittle, that can make Ayuk a boom or bust some weeks. Like Cooper, the key for Ayuk is touchdowns, and that's what Air Jordan is banking on. That's why he actually gave up Deebo Samuel to get Ayuk. And surprisingly, the Cardinals' defense has not been that bad against wide receivers, allowing just 167 yards per game and just 1 touchdown through 3 games. This includes holding CeeDee Lamb and the Cowboys' passing offense to limited production as well. It will be interesting to see if the Cardinals can continue to play teams tough like this. They've actually been leading in all 3 games so far in the second half. If Ayuk can bounce back and reach the end zone, it could be a key for Air Jordan to finally get into that coveted win column. But if he struggles, and especially if Samuel doesn't struggle on the other end, it could be salt to the wounds and an 0-4 start. Regardless, this is expected to be close, and we should get some answers with both teams having Green Bay players going into tonight's game. But the other 5 matchups in the league will also have some potential late-season implications. One is the defending champion Elite Mother Tuckers, who are hosting 2-time champion Loki Lebowski Thor. The Elite Mother Tuckers are hoping to avoid going 0-4, while Lebowski Thor would love not to fall to 1-3. This one's also interesting because the Elite Mother Tuckers thought they had a trade locked up, but it fell through due to Elvin Kamara coming off IR. Still, the Elite Mother Tuckers come in with a 66.7% chance to win. Justin Herbert versus Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback matchup, and the Mother Tuckers did see an A.J. Brown resurgence last week, so maybe the trade falling through isn't so bad. Lebowski Thor needs Justin Jefferson to feast and Calvin Ridley to put up Week 1 numbers. Both teams have running backs that are underperforming, so that'll be an area to watch. Lebowski Thor also needs a replacement for Mike Williams, who's out for the season. Still, this actually looks like it could be a high-scoring game. We also get a rivalry award on the line with my 1-2 Gashkia Slews hosting the 2-1 Siamese Dream Cats. The Cats currently hold the Golden Cat necklace, but my Slews are hungry to win it back. At the moment, the Dream Cats have a 55.5% chance to win. All eyes will be on Devon A-Chain for my Slews. Will he be a one-hit wonder or consistently give good production at the running back position? Could be big. Also, Justin Fields has been awful, and a lot of it is because the Bears think he should be passing the ball. If he starts using his legs again, he could finally put up decent fantasy numbers. The Cats will be riding Kirk Cousins and Tony Pollard. The Eagles' defense also gets the feast on Sam Howell as well. 2-1 Risky Business hosts the 2-1 Multiple Scoregasms, and what is historically a very good matchup, and one I'm surprised hasn't blossomed into a rivalry game yet. In this one, Risky Business has a 58.2% chance to win. Christian McCaffrey is his workhorse, and he has a good matchup with Jamar Gibbs against the Packers. The Cowboys' defense also looks to bounce back against the Patriots. The Scoregasms need production from Trevor Lawrence at quarterback and Amon-Ra St. Brown to put up first-round numbers. Also, James Cook is expected to be in a shootout, so look for him to put up some numbers. Nico Collins could be a big boost as well if he puts up Week 2 numbers. Undefeated Banditos Del Rio hosts 2-1 Remember the Titans in another big matchup. The computers are pointing toward a 4-0 start for Banditos as they come in with a 63.6% chance to win. The Banditos are rolling with Mike Evans and Sam Laporta after a trade fell through, so eyes will be on them. Mahomes will be looking to connect with Kelsey again, but the matchup isn't great against the Jets. The hope would be that the Jets struggle so much on offense that the defense gets tired late in the game. Remember, the Titans will be looking for trade pickups Deebo Samuel and Breece Hall to help him out. Waddle will also most likely be in a shootout, so another chance to get big points. Lastly, we get another battle of 2-1 teams as the Stellar Bitches host Green Acres at the Purple Skies at Dache. Both teams are on the upswing, so this one is a de facto second game of the week. The Stellar Bitches enter with a 57.7% chance to win. Raheem Mostert and Keenan Allen might not go as insane as the week before, but they should both get plenty of opportunities. Bijan Robinson also should bounce back if he gets the carries he should be getting. Tyreek Hill will be in a shootout most likely, and Geno Smith will be looking to outduel a banged-up Joe Burrow. The hope that T. Higgins gets all the touchdowns to block Burrow is another potential matchup shifter. This week should be fun and exciting as we enter a time where waiver pickups are more about streamers and injuries than finding diamonds in the rough. Usually after Week 5, waivers is more about tweaks than outright fixes. And we get to see some top pickups in action and to gauge how well they will do. Can they be league winners? You never know who's going to be, right? Well, we'll see. And that's the show for the week. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll begin to dive deep into our theme story next week. Plus, there'll be Sunday content coming soon as well. That'll be announced on this show, possibly next week, maybe the week after. We'll see how things go with schedules. Before you go, check out the updated power rankings. There's been some shifts in there after last week. Until next time, salut.